What's up, everybody? Welcome to On West Gray, the monthly podcast about all things local government in the city of Norman. I'm your host, Tiffany Verska, Chief Communications Officer for the city of Norman, and we appreciate you tuning in. Today in the studio with us, we have guests from the Norman Police Department, Major Chad Vincent and Lieutenant Denny Oesterling of the Community Outreach Division. Community policing and outreach is focused on officers working in partnership with Norman residents to increase trust and problem solve together. You might see these officers in schools, at neighborhood watch meetings, or leading classes at the Citizens Police Academy, because they do it all. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you guys for coming in. Yeah. So we will just jump right into it. So for starters, can you each tell me a little bit about yourself? What drew you to want to pursue a career in law enforcement, and in particular one at the city of Norman?
Sure, I'll go first. I've been with the police department for 23 years, almost 24 years now. Truthfully, first I was an accountant. I went to OU. I was an accountant.
All right.
But I wasn't a very good one. It was too much. I went to OU, got a finance degree, and started doing accounting work, and figured out that it wasn't very much fun, and it was way too much stress. And I needed a company car, so I loved Norman. I thought, well, maybe I'll try this police thing, and that kind of worked out. 24 years later, here I am. We loved the community. My wife went to school here too, and we just really enjoy hanging out, doing all things Norman, and really spending time, kind of feeding back into the city.
Wow. So I think that if there's anything on opposite ends of the spectrum, that just might be it. Accounting, policing.
That's it. Cubicle every day of the week. I knew exactly what was going to happen, almost minute by minute, and none of that was fun. None of it was exciting. And I did that in a city I did up in Oklahoma City, and I would leave Norman every day, and I'd drive 45 minutes, almost an hour, and there was just no fulfillment there. So love working here and being in the community that you live, I think is really cool. So it's been a great experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah,
and Lieutenant, can you tell me a little bit about your background?
Yeah, my name's Denny Oesterling. I'm from South Dakota, and kind of always wanted to be a police officer, which is what brought me up into this career. But I joined the Police Explorer program when I was 14 years old, and did that all the way through. I joined the Air Force. I knew that law enforcement looks highly on the military, so that's what brought me to Oklahoma. I was stationed up at Tinker. So when I got out, actually while I was in the Air Force, I got involved with Norman Police Explorer program is how I ended up here in Norman. And anyways, when I got out, I threw an application in down here and ended up getting hired here. So figured I'd get a couple of years of experience here in Norman and then move back to South Dakota, and 16 years later, here I am. So
yeah, we had to keep you. You loved it too much here, right?
Yeah, Norman's been a great community. The police department's been really good to me throughout my career. So I've just really never had to, desire to apply to another agency like I thought I was going to do. So it's been great though.
Awesome. Well, thank you also for your service. And I think one of the programs you touched on we'll jump into more as we continue here on the show. So the community outreach team at the Norman Police Department, can one of you delve in more as far as like what you do, your roles, responsibilities, maybe the events or programs that you help to coordinate?
Sure. So I'm the lieutenant over the division, and I've got Sergeant Jeff Casillas is kind of our officer that's assigned to the division right now. He does a great job of taking and coordinating different events, and then I try to help him out and fill in a little bit wherever he gets busy. There's a ton of stuff that he does, in all honesty, throughout the whole year.
He is a pretty good guy, I think.
He is, yes. He's real busy too. So, but he coordinates Cookout with the Cop. We do those a couple times throughout the year, throughout the community. We just go and kind of grill out and let the community come together and talk about issues they're having within their community to bring it to our attention and what can we do to kind of help them out. It also kind of just builds a little bridge and networking and that type of stuff.
Sure.
So same with Coffee with the Cop. We just had National Night Out, if you guys are familiar with that. He does a chili feed in January. We coordinate that with the fire department and the public schools and put on a big chili feed over at Norman High. So that's usually the end of January. You guys can look forward to that.
Oh, that thing is packed every time I've been.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a great event. It is a great event.
We also do things like the Citizens Police Academy, so people can kind of get a feel for why cops do the things the way they do them and get involved in the Citizens Police Academy, and then there's some volunteering opportunities at the end of the Citizens Police Academy that the alumni is able to kind of work with us. So that's extremely beneficial for them and for us as well. We do like safety tip presentations. So if you have a business or something and you guys are looking for some safety ideas to talk about with your employees and that type of stuff, we'll come out to your business and kind of talk about different things. We do that with schools as well. Paul Mitchell Hair Design, we've been out there, that type of stuff. So neighborhood watch programs, we coordinate all those through our office as well and kind of keep all those together and work with them as well. And then crime prevention through environmental design is it's called CEPTED. It's kind of a certification that we have, and Jeff Casillas will go out and talk with businesses and talk about different deterrents they can do with their business as far as landscape-wise and how they can maybe open it up and make it more attractive from a business end, but as well as kind of secured and make it a little bit safer and that type of stuff as far as like lighting and that type of stuff. So it's pretty good.
Yes, I was in on a meeting with him not too long ago, maybe sometime last year, and learned a little bit about that, which was really interesting and really cool.
Sure.
Well, two things. You guys are excellent cooks. You come to the United Way cookout every year and let us borrow the grill and serve up the hamburgers and hot dogs, and so we appreciate you for that. And then the other thing, you had touched on the Explorers program. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I grew up as an explorer. It's for ages 14 to 21. It really teaches them about cop work and why we do things the way we do them. And I mean, truly, we prepare those guys just like they're going to be a cop. We train them how to do traffic stops, building searches. We've taken them to competitions and have actually been very successful at the competitions. And then in turn, hopefully we can turn those into officers, which we have several officers now, myself included, that have been a part of the Explorer program. But ultimately, it's just a way for us to connect with young adults and kind of teach them how to do things and that type of stuff. So it's a great program.
That's awesome. Is it like a year-long program or like a
Nope,
weekend type thing? Or
yeah, I think they meet twice a month now. It's actually public safety cadets now. They changed from the Explorer program, but it's still very similar. But they have meetings. It used to be twice a month. I assume it's probably still the same. And
I'm sure they could probably go to normanok.gov and find more information.
Yeah, everything that we talk about today is going to be on our website. So
perfect. Okay. Well, can you all talk about why it's important to have a group of officers that are dedicated to community-oriented policing efforts? What do you think that this does for our community?
Yeah, I think it's super important. You know, we always like to say that we do things different in Norman. In fact, we kind of have a tagline of the Norman Standard. We truly believe that this police department is different than the others. And part of that is our connection to the community. We really think that really diving in, doing life with the community and serving the community is really the best way. It's the most effective way. And, you know, a lot of people don't know that that's not necessarily always how police departments work. Not every police department makes it the priority that we do at the Norman Police Department, and it is just, again, super important that we really dive in. We want to work with our community. We want it to be a partnership deal. That's really how you get a really close-knit environment that really can come together in challenging times, and it's just best for everybody. And that's what, at the heart of what we do as an agency, that's what's important to us, to get out and serve in the community, because we all have ties to the community. You know, Norman, what's great about the Norman Police Department, the size of it, is that, you know, it's not so big like other departments where you may not know the person that you end up working with. Norman's different in the fact that we all know each other, we know our families, and the same thing for the city. You know, the city is certainly big and it's certainly growing, but at the same time, it's the size where you can still connect with people. So we love that about it. And Lieutenant Oesterling is right. He touched on him and Jeff. Definitely got to give a shout out to Jeff. Really, both of them. You know, we manage and administer. I actually had to count them up, more than 40 different programs. Mm-hmm. So, and it's really just those two really take lead in that. So they do a ton of work, and super appreciative of what they do, because they do great stuff. And you know, Denny touched on it, but the youth too. You know, we've said it before. In this community, the most valuable resource isn't stadiums or streets or buildings. Our most valuable resource is our kids. So we have really leaned into that, and we do a ton of really cool programs, you know, kind of throughout the department, starting with our youth. So we have a junior police academy that we do in the summertime. We have a coaching, mentoring camps for our kiddos. We have a police activities league, which we have, typically that's kind of led by our SROs, but really get a chance in the summertime to just gather up a bunch of kids and just do some really cool stuff in the summer times. And it's a great experience. Safety Town, I could go on, but the youth.
We caught you guys at National Night Out not too long ago.
That's right.
That was fun.
National Night Out is a great time. Every year that event gets a little bit bigger and more fun. So Denny's right. If you haven't been to National Night Out, definitely get that on your calendar, because that is certainly it's just a great time. So anyway, that's kind of how we feel about outreach, but it's important. And it's also something the community has consistently told us, hey, that's what we want. So we certainly want to honor that and continue to lean into that.
Yes, it feels like every other year the programs and services continue to increase for you all as far as what you offer the community. So I think everybody thinks you're doing a great job.
All right,
Thank you all for what you're doing. So we have some major holidays coming up right around the corner. Can you all touch on some safety tips and reminders for folks as we draw closer to those?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the biggest things that we encounter, especially over the holiday weekend, is just car break-ins. So one of the biggest things you guys can do to alleviate that is just lock your doors. I'd say probably 85 to 90% of our break-ins are actually doors that are unlocked. So if you guys can just lock your doors when you're out Christmas shopping. The second thing is hide your valuables. So if you do go out shopping and you go to one store, try to put them underneath the seat, or if you got some dark tinted windows, or if you could throw a blanket over it in the back seat, or whatever the case may be. Usually if someone's going to break a window into a vehicle, they're going to want to see something, and because it's loud, it's noisy, there's broken glass, which you can cut yourself on, and it does happen. So they usually don't want to break windows. So definitely just locking your doors is going to alleviate a lot of those. The other big thing is we have a ton of guns, firearms that are stolen from vehicles. So try to keep those locked up inside your house, or if you got your concealed to carry permit, get those with you, whatever, keep them on you, that's safe. But just leaving them in your vehicle unattended can typically lead to them getting stolen. So one of the big things that we have is scams that go on. And there's just an infinite amount of scams. Just when you think you've heard them all, they'll come up with a new clever way to try to get some money from people. So if somebody calls you and they're trying to pressure you at all, it's probably going to be a scam of some sort. Anything dealing with Bitcoin or anything like that is always going to be a scam. Be extremely careful of anything like that. I just had a deal last week where I got a random text saying that it was my bank and asked if I did a certain authorization. And these guys are very clever. They knew which bank I banked with, and the text looked legitimate. And so then they called right after, and you can spoof numbers. So it popped up saying it was my bank. And so anyways, I answered. I'm like, yeah, I didn't do that. And then they went, okay, well, hey, we'll cancel out your card. And then they wanted me to put in a username. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to send my username as a text message. That's just not going to fly. So that's a red flag right there. So just if you've got somebody calling you and you suspect anything's off, they could have a lot of information about you, but just don't give them any information over the phone. Whoever's calling you should have that information. They can verify it. You don't need to do it. Go to your bank if you need to in person, but be very careful of anything over the phone. We will never call. The sheriff's department will never call asking for any bond information or any bond or trying to collect bonds. That's going to come from the persons directly, so don't fall for that type of stuff either. Package thefts, that's another huge deal. I've seen deals where they'll have just a little like storage cabinet thing that you can put on your front porch, and you can have Amazon or whoever drop it in there. And if you leave a little lock, sometimes they'll lock it for you, whatever the case may be. So there's some different things that you can do there. One of the biggest things that you can do is just get like a Ring doorbell camera or something along those lines. It doesn't really help us if we just get a call saying, hey, we had a package stolen. But if you can provide some type of video, that helps us out tremendously to be able to get a good quality picture of that person. And we can start pushing that information out to try to get that person identified. So kind of the last safety tip that I have is if you purchase anything at like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or anything like that, just choose a good safe location to meet up with that person. We actually have a safety pickup deal at the police department. You can just go out in the parking lot there. You can exchange, everything's video recorded. So it's just a little safety net for you to be in front of the police department and kind of hopefully deter anything that's going to be fraudulent or anything along those lines. So just be safe when you do that type of stuff.
That is really good to know. And along the lines of the camera that you were talking about, is there a program there at the police department where you can opt into like letting PD know that you have cameras available at your home or your business in case a crime occurs and you guys may need some help? Is there something in place like that I heard of?
There is, and we're in the process of kind of revamping that program. So kind of stay tuned to the website. We're trying to relaunch that, but
Okay.
it is. We want to be able to identify when we have a crime who's got a camera and who's willing to share that with us, so that we can kind of help.
Yeah,
and
I
help
know
fight
like
crime
my
together.
neighbors will post on like social media or something, hey, did you see this, that, or the other? And just figure if there's like one landing place that's official and reputable, maybe through PD, that could be really helpful to folks. So that's good to know as well. So one more question that comes in quite a bit, volunteering. Do you take volunteers for any of your events or initiatives? And if so, where can people apply to volunteer with PD?
Sure. We have a couple of ways. We love to partner again with the community. We love the volunteers. We have a great group of folks now that really come in and help out, from everything from record stuff to our animal welfare. They help volunteer as role players in our academy, so they do a ton of good stuff. So kind of the entryway to do that is to visit our website, and you can apply online really, and we can kind of put through the process. There's a bit of a process, background check and things like that, but no need for anybody to get worried about that. It's super easy. We'll walk them through that. It'll be great. Love for folks to do that. The other thing that we talk about a lot really is one of our probably coolest programs is our Citizens Police Academy.
Yes.
That's just a tremendous, and I say that because I have virtually nothing to do with it. And it's just they do a great job with it. So you get a chance to come in one night a week for 8-10 weeks.
I think we're at 9 right now, maybe 10.
Okay, 9 or 10 weeks. You come in as a group, and you get to see every facet of the police department, and it's just a great opportunity to really see exactly what your police department is doing. And then the follow up to that is, once you complete that, you get a chance to be a part of the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association. Alumni.
Yep, CPAN.
CPAN. So that organization specifically. Really has been an anchor group for us over the years. They do it all. So we can't thank that group enough. And I know they're always interested in adding more folks to their association. So those are a couple really good ways really to get involved. And again, there's so many areas that you can see the police department and help give back to your community.
Yeah, we've heard great things about that program, and I'll have you know that I do some recruiting for you when we do the City of Norman Citizens Academy.
Send them our way.
Yeah.
We'll take them. Send them our way. Send them our way.
Well, is there anything else that either of you would like to share with our listeners?
I think that's it.
I've got nothing.
We appreciate you letting us come out and hang out with you today. And like I said, it's we're thankful for the community and for the city, and we're looking forward to Christmas.
All right. I hear you. I mean, we got to get through Thanksgiving first. But yes,
That's true.
Both
That's a
of
good
those
point.
things. All right. Well, thank you all for being with us today. We appreciate you. Questions or commentary about On West Gray can be sent into publicaffairs@normanok.gov. Shouts to our producer and editor, Mr. Bryce Holland of the City of Norman Communications Office. Visit normanok.gov/news to enroll for e-notifications on traffic advisories, upcoming events, election notices, and more from the City of Norman. Follow us on social, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, City of Norman OK, and on Instagram, The City of Norman. Until next time, stay engaged, stay informed, and always remember to cast your ballot. I'm Tiffany Verska. Thank you for joining us on West Gray.